Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then welcome, and if you're returning, then thank you very much for coming back. Today's video is, first of all, my name is Sarah, by the way, and ignore my crazy hair. I'm not going anywhere fancy, I just wanted to try something different. So here I am, and I tried to do a manicure at home, and I just need those salons to open. Awful. Anyway, today's video we're talking about why I moved to Melbourne from Dubai and not anywhere else, or the UK where I'm from, and how I met my boyfriend, which I did not think I would be making a video on. I did not think anyone cared or wanted to know, so that's why in my previous video, if you did watch it, then I started talking about him, and then I was like, hang on, just be quiet, Sarah, no one cares. Then people messaged me and were like, continue the story, like we want to hear the story of how you met. And then I put a thing on my Instagram to see like if people actually wanted to know, and they did. You did, which is really weird. Well, it's not weird, I guess. I watch some stories on these kind of things of YouTubers who I've been following a while or whatever. So I was just like, okay, he doesn't know it, but we're gonna make a video on this. He's probably gonna kill me because he's gonna be like, keep that information for us. Like, he's one of those, which is fine, but gonna do it anyway. So yeah, how do I start this? I'm gonna try and do this as natural as I can and not cut or edit as I've done in other previous videos. And I got really good response from my last video, so thank you very much for people who were just like so lovely and so kind and related so much, and honestly it means the world to me. Waking up and reading those comments, just I love it. Like, and I try to reply to as many people as I can, so if I haven't replied yet, I definitely will. It just takes some time. And yeah, the video just got such a great response, and it was just me sitting here like this being honest, so here I am again. So where do I start? Okay, let's start with the boyfriend story because it kind of interlaps, is that even a word? Probably not. It interlaps with why I moved to Melbourne. It's because of him that I moved to Melbourne, basically, but I'll tell you the story. So I came to Melbourne for the Australian Open, you know, like in just a bit of a background story. So Emirates chooses a group of people, girls primarily, to go and represent Emirates in different sporting events, corporate events, like all these things. So there's a team of people who do this, and you get selected and you get to go to these awesome events. So I got selected to go to the Australian Open event. I was like really happy to go. I don't really know much about tennis, but I was like so happy to get selected. And it was like 12 days or 11 days or something like that in Melbourne for the Australian Open of 2019. So that was last January. So got selected for that, over the moon, packed my bags, jumped on a plane to Melbourne, and obviously represented Emirates at that event. So basically he worked in the hotel that I was staying in, but I wasn't interested in anything. I was on another planet, basically, okay? So I minded my own business, saw him, but like thought he was cute, but nothing happened, like whatever. We ended up somehow finding each other on social media and following each other, but that was it. Like literally that was it. We barely exchanged 2 words to each other. Then I did the whole event, loved every moment of it, it was so awesome, and then went back to Dubai. Then a few months later, he doesn't really bother with social media. Like, if anyone who knows me or knows him or follows me or whatever will see that he doesn't really post. Like, he's quite quiet on social media. So I went to Bali. So my April holidays, yeah, so in April I decided I wanted to go to Bali, and I planned it with my best friend, and I planned it with I planned it to go 1 week alone, and then my friend was coming to join me for the second week. So 2 weeks altogether, 1 week alone. And I was like, right, I'm gonna like read books, I'm gonna detox, eat really healthy, be alone. You know, it was one of those like moments where I was like, I'm just gonna be alone and enjoy my time. So that's what I did. I packed my stuff, my bag, my books, like all of that. And I was like, I booked my hotel, went, lovely. First night, I went to the bar. This detox lasted really long. So I went to the bar, ordered a drink, and sat there on my own. Now, it was a place where you could like socialize because there was other solo travelers, and yeah, so they were all around me, so I didn't really feel alone, but I was just sitting having a drink. And I posted it on my social media. post it on Instagram. He pops up on my Instagram and he's like, he's gonna definitely deny this as well. Like every single time we talk about this, he's like, you messaged me first. And I'm like, no, I didn't. Like I'm gonna, sorry, but oh my god, my hair is really crazy. I was like, I'm just gonna have to go through my messages and prove it to you because you messaged me first. Anyway, it's just a silly thing that we have going on. So he messaged me and he was like, something like, oh, you're in Bali or something. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I'm in Bali as well. And I was like, oh, okay. Like I didn't know that from before. So he was just like, what are you up to? And I was like, I'm just chilling, like on my own, having a drink. And he was like, do you, something like, do you want to go out, or do you want to go for drinks or something? And I was just like, yeah, where are you guys at? Assuming that he was with other people. And then he was like, which guys? Like I'm on my own. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. But honest to God, this was just like as friends. Like in my eyes, it was literally as friends. And same for him as well. Like he said it was just as friends, which it completely was. So he picked me up on his little scooter. So cute, so Italian, and we were in the middle of Bali. So yeah, my boyfriend's Italian, for those of you who don't know. So he picked me up on his scooter, bought me a helmet, and we went out. Nothing happened, literally nothing happened. I'm obviously not going to go into details later on when things do happen, but I'm just saying it was as friends, completely as friends. I literally didn't care. Like the first day I went with makeup on, but it was just because I was in Bali on my holiday and I wanted to put makeup on. But it wasn't to impress him or anything. I was completely myself, completely relaxed, like not awkward, like we were just friends. So we hung out. I think that night I got like jet lagged. I think I was jet lagged and I was feeling really tired. So I'm gonna get this wrong and he's gonna watch this and be like, oh, you're saying it wrong. But I think we hung out and then he dropped me home and I went to bed. Like I was a bit boring. Definitely one of the nights we went to the W hotel and I was so boring and just really tired and I was miserable. Like I just want to go home. So I went home, went to my hotel, he went to his hotel. That was it. Then another night I think the next day, like we hung out every single day. So the next day he was like, do you want to hang out again? And it wasn't just him saying it, it was me as well. Like we became like friends, you know? So he was like, do you wanna go south? I think that was the day. Yeah. Do you wanna go down south? So I was like, yeah, okay. Like I had no means of going around. I didn't want to hire a scooter on my own. I'm a bit clumsy. We later find this out in the holiday, but I didn't want to hire the scooter. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'll join you to go down south. So he was like, okay, just pack like light and we'll go down south for the day and then we'll go to the temple. I can't remember the name of the temple, but it's in Uluwatu. Like if you've been, you know what I mean. So we went down south and it's like, I think it took us like an hour. Probably saying that completely wrong. I don't know how long it would take, but it took us a while. Went down south. Do I want to say that again? We went down south. So we went to the beach and I remember, sorry for any guys who are watching this, I'm going to talk about girly things right now, just to add to the story, to show you how, like, anyway, so I went to the beach, I was in my bikini, no makeup, and obviously on the beach, and I was on my period. And you know, I couldn't, just feeling so bloated and disgusting, and ooh, I was just gross. And I had an eye infection as well, that was it. So I had an eye infection, was on my period, and I just felt disgusting. But he saw me like that, he saw me like at my worst, basically. Like I was just horrendous, like I felt disgusting. And I know it's all normal things, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but you know, like if you were really trying to impress someone, you don't want those things to happen to you. But because we were just friends, I was just like, oh, whatever, he has to see me like this, like whatever. So we were on the beach and he was talking about girls, I was talking about guys, and really weird because now we're together, but we were just talking like friends. And yeah, we had like a few bintangs on the beach, chatting, and then we went to the temple. We had like drinks like throughout the day, and then we went to the temple in the evening for sunset. And I don't know if you've ever been to Bali, this temple is amazing. Like it's a really cool experience. You kind of go and the local people do like a dance. It's like a Balinese dance or ritual. Don't get offended if I'm saying that wrong, but it's like a ritual or something like that. It's really, really cool. Maybe I'll try and link it in the video if I can find it, but it's just this incredible, like all these layers where you sit. So it's like an auditorium basically, but all outside on the top of this kind of cliff. And you've just got all these seating around, and then you'll sit on the floor and you'll wear these wraps to cover yourself. So we sat down on the floor, and it started, like it was incredible. Like they were dancing and all this, making all these really cool noises and stuff. It was really like overwhelming. And the sun was setting and it started tipping down with rain, like pouring down with rain. I'm not, like, it's probably the worst rain I've ever seen. Like, it was crazy. And then I think it was a thunderstorm. Yeah, I think it was a thunderstorm, and it was raining. He was like, we were getting soaked, like absolutely soaked. So I think he took off his wrap thing, and we had it over our heads, and it was just this really weird moment. Like, it was a bit of a moment. I wouldn't say I'm really spiritual, but I would say I'm a little bit spiritual. And it was just this moment where we were looking at each other, and he was like, do you want to go? And I was like, no, it's fine, like, we'll stay, like, it's really cool. So it was tipping down with rain. The thunderstorm was going on, the sun was setting, and all this local thing was going on, and it was just really one of those moments that was just really cool. And he always says, like, I really liked you from that moment because you didn't care about, like, getting soaking wet, like some girls would be like running away, and he was like, no, you were really cool, like, you wanted to stay. And I was thinking, probably because I didn't love you at that point, so I didn't really, like, I wasn't trying to impress him, do you know what I mean? So probably if I was really trying to impress him, I would run away, but I was just like, whatever, it's just rain. So we left. But it was a moment that kind of changed something a little bit for me. Like, he was really sweet, and I don't know, it was just a bit of a moment. I can't really describe it any other way. So then we walked back to the scooter, and it was still, like, completely tipping it down. So he was a bit concerned, I think, driving back to Seminyak. So, which is like, I think an hour or an hour and a half, I can't remember, from where we were. Or maybe an hour and a half, because it was a scooter ride and it was tipping down with rain. Now, he's really good at riding a bike, like really, really good. He comes from Sicily, so he's really good at it, and he's really confident. But I think because he had me with him, he felt a little bit more, okay, I have to be really, really safe, and I have her with me, and she has to trust me. So he was like, are you sure we can stay here the night if you don't feel safe to go back on the scooter? And I was just like, no, it's fine. Like, I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie as well. Like, especially when you're with someone new and it's all exciting, and I'm a bit of yeah, I don't really think properly as well. So I was like, yeah, let's just drive back. As long as you're fine to do it, let's do it. So we drove back, and he was telling me, like, you need to literally hold on to me so tight, and if I move, you need to move with me. Like, you need to be really careful, because obviously it was really slippery and dangerous. So we were going back, and he was just really sweet. You know, like, when you just think, like, oh, he's really sweet. Like, I don't know, some guys are stupid, like, they'll show off and do stupid things, where he was really like, okay, this girl needs to trust me, and I need to keep her safe. So we drove back, and he dropped me off, and I don't know if we went out that night, maybe not, I can't really remember the details, but I'm literally giving you, like, all the story. So I think that night we went to sleep. He went to his hotel, I went to my hotel. We were like 5 minutes apart by driving from each other's hotels, but yeah, we still went home. Then one night we met my friend who landed from an Emirates flight and came to join us. Like, so she was texting me, like, I'm coming. She'd obviously, sorry, that was a yawn, like a really weird yawn. She was obviously telling me, like, she texted me saying, I'm landing into what's the airport, anyway, into Bali, and what are you up to? I've seen, like, I think she saw my Instagram, and she must have just wanted to go out. So I was like, yeah, like, I'll meet you out and bring the crew. So the crew came, and we went out, and he was with me as well, and we just all got, like, drunk, and it was fun. And that wasn't the night. So what was the night then? Oh yeah, so on his last night, so we hung out through the days, we did, like, cool things together, hung out a lot. And then on his last night, it was supposed to be his last night. So we were in Seminyak, like, walking around, and I was like, oh yeah, first of all, we were at the pool, sorry, we were at the pool, his pool in his hotel, and we were drinking and having fun, and then we were like, should we go for a massage? Oh, he said, should we go for a massage? I know a good place. So I was like, yeah, okay. So we went to this massage, and at this point I kind of, you know, I fancied him, you know, like, he was growing on me. Not that he's amazing anyway, but it started to change, you know, the vibe was changing. So he was like, let's go for a massage, and I was like, yeah, okay. So we went for a massage, and, you know, like, I started to feel really shy then. I was like, oh god, I don't want him to see me, like, with no clothes on. So we went into a couple's room. So obviously they assumed we were a couple. We weren't, but yeah, they assumed it. So they took us into a couple room, and I didn't want to be like, oh no, I can't. So I was just like, oh, covering myself, like, okay, this is awkward, and I was just getting really embarrassed. Anyway, so we were kind of like a little bit tipsy, and he fell asleep, I think, during the massage. Had a massage, left the massage place, and we were like, okay, let's go I was like, do you want to have like more drinks? This is your last night, like let's go and enjoy. So he was just like, okay. So I wanted to go to dance kizomba, which if anyone knows what kizomba is, it's probably not going to be in Bali, or not very popular. But I was like, I know this place, they've got a salsa night going on, so let's go there. So he was like, obviously just being polite and cute, like, okay. So we ended up finding this place. It was completely empty. There was like nothing going on there whatsoever. It was crap, but I was just like, you know what, we're here now, let's just have drinks. So we had drinks, we had like a few drinks together, and then we met this other couple. We weren't a couple, but we met a couple, and they started chatting to us. We were like the only people there. People started arriving, but we were kind of like the only normal kind of people there. So they started chatting to us, started ordering drinks, and they were like, oh, let's have shots, let's do this, let's do that. So we had a few drinks. It got a bit like, yeah, merry, let's just say merry, and then we ended up partying with the, oh yeah, this was really interesting. One of the girl who was with so the couple of the that were drinking with us, the girl was like, so how are you gonna make this work? Like, he lives in Australia and you live in Dubai, like how are you gonna make this work? And we were like, she was drunk, and we were like, no, we're not a couple, like we're just friends, we're not a couple. And she was just like, 5 minutes later, so how are you gonna make this work? She kept asking, like, how are you gonna make this work? Like, you're quite far apart. And we were like looking at each other like, we're just friends, like we're not a couple, we don't need to make anything work, it's fine. And we always look back at that and like, she knew, but we didn't know. So we ended up having a bit of an after party with that couple, and like a few others, yeah, a few other people joined us, and just had a great night. And then let's just keep that bit, that was a good night. And then obviously things were like changing between us. We were liking each other more in a different way, and that was it. Like, that was basically it. And then my friend Zoe came to join me, and he left. So no, he extended his night, yeah, he extended his stay by one night, because he says that he felt hungover and didn't want to take the flight. But I was like, is it because you like me? But he was like, I was hungover, I didn't want to take the flight. I was like, okay, whatever. So anyway, we ended up staying together like a little bit longer than we thought, and then he went and my friend Zoe came, and then we had a holiday together. And then me and him were just talking every single day. We were video calling every day, and yeah, we just couldn't stop talking to each other, like could not stop talking to each other. He was making me cry, laugh, like literally crying. Like, we were sending voice notes to each other, and he was just like, I was just crying, laughing the whole time. When I went back to Dubai, we continued, and I realized, like, I'm falling in love with this guy. What am I gonna do? This is exactly what I didn't want, because you couldn't have it more difficult. Like, I was in Dubai, he was Italian, living in Melbourne. Like, how is that gonna possibly work, like that girl was saying? So I was doing like flights to Melbourne, so I was trying to swap and do everything in my power to get onto a Melbourne flight, to do that Melbourne trip and spend time with him. So then he'd come and pick me up from my hotel, and we'd spend time together, and it's just really nice. Then I ended up meeting some of his friends as well, and we were just basically like acting like a couple, but no one was saying anything. Then I came and stayed for 1 week in Melbourne, because I had time, like I had holidays. So I just came here, and he picked me up from the airport, and we had like really cool time together. And then he drove me outside of Melbourne to this kind of resort where we stayed together, like a golf and spa resort. We stayed together there, and we had this moment on the balcony. Now, he's going to kill me for saying this story, but I just want to say it anyway. We had this like moment on the balcony, and like I said earlier, I'm not really spiritual, but I would say like I do believe in certain things. And we had a shower together, nothing like that. We had a shower together, we had like our robes on, and we had this gorgeous like outside terrace. No one could see us. It was just nature, and the sun was setting. Something about sunset and me and him. Anyway, the sun was setting, and we were outside, and I think I was kind of having my hands on the rail, like looking out, and he was behind me, like cuddling me, cwtching me for Welsh people. So we were just like not talking, no music was on, it was just completely silent, and we were just like watching the sunset and the nature, and it was just gorgeous. And then he hugged me, like, so he put his back on the terrace, like against the terrace, looking, so he had his back to the sunset, if that makes sense. and he was hugging me, and I was just like, he's really tall, so I was just like cuddling in his chest. Again, not talking, nothing, like no music. And I don't know what it was, but something just came over me. Like this, it was like a force, like I can't even describe it. And some people who don't believe in those things are gonna think I'm nuts, and that's fine. But it was like this force that just took over my whole body. My heart started beating like so fast. I started not sweating, but I was just feeling like what the hell is wrong? I felt like I was gonna faint, but in a good way. It was really weird. And he was holding me, and then I started crying. He's so gonna kill me for this. So I started crying, not crying like, but like tears, and he was getting emotional. I won't go into detail because he'll kill me, but he was getting emotional. But we weren't talking. I wasn't even looking at him. I was in his chest, and he was like here. His head was like somewhere here, I don't know. And that's not the moment we told each other we loved each other. It wasn't that moment. But he grabbed my chin, and he was like trying to like look at me. He was like pulling my chin up, and I was just like hiding it because I thought maybe it's me that's just an emotional mess, and then maybe it's me who's just, he's gonna think I'm crazy if he looks at me and he sees me crying in a normal moment. But then when we looked at each other, we clearly both had the same feeling, and it was just incredible. Like, I can't really express how I want to express it in words, but it was just incredible. And that's a moment I'll never ever 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 forget. Like, so incredible. And we both felt exactly the same, and we talk about that moment now. Like, it's just gonna stay with me forever. And then spent time together. We went horse riding together. Like, it was just awesome. And another time I came, and yeah, that's when we told each other we loved each other, in a bar. We knew it. Like, you know when you love someone. Well, at least I do, and you know. So for me, it's not such a huge moment that it has to be perfect when you tell each other you love each other. I don't think that's true. If you know, you know. And we knew for a while before any of us told each other that we loved each other. He said it first, but no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we fell in love, and I was just thinking, okay, what are we gonna do? So he was kind of making jokes like, just move here, and I was just like, I can't, that's crazy. Like, I'm supposed to go home to the UK. Like, I can't move to Melbourne, it's millions of miles away from the UK. What am I supposed to do? So anyway, he made a joke, and then that joke turned into reality, because I was like, maybe I should. And he was like, yeah, just move. And I think he didn't realize that that could possibly happen as well. And yeah, I just felt, again, like from my video of leaving Emirates, I was feeling all those things anyway, and I was just like, I've fallen completely in love with this man who has just changed everything that I thought, or he's made me not made me believe, what's the word I'm looking for, like everything that I believed in and hoped for, he was that person. Like, everything that I believe in, that how you should feel when you're with someone, all those things, he stood by all those things. So I was just like, it's just a chance. And I am one of those people who take chances. I am one of those people who act quickly. Anyone who knows me will know that. So I just thought, maybe I should just hand in my notice. And I didn't tell my family any of this, by the way. This was all kept under the carpet till the last moment, which was, that's another story time. So I was petrified to tell my dad. I told my mum like after some time, but I was really scared to tell my dad, and oh my god, that was another story. So we decided, like, okay, let's do it. He was like, just move here, we can move in together, we can figure it out. And I was just like, oh my god, okay. So I handed in my notice, and then the second I handed in my notice, I knew that, like, yeah, this is the right decision. Like, I didn't feel scared really. I didn't feel like, my gut feeling was just like, yeah, this is a good decision for you. So that was it. I handed in my notice. I had to work like a month, and then within that month I just wanted to get out. I wanted to get out of there. And we were just, and in Dubai, video calling is really difficult to do. This is before Zoom, so video calling was like almost impossible. So we were really, sorry, excuse me, we were really missing each other. We were struggling to like do video calls together, just calling if we could, or sorry, my battery died. Where was I? So yeah, once I handed in my notice, I just couldn't wait to, is this on the same, sorry if it's slightly different. Yeah, I think I've made it different, haven't I? Anyway, so yeah, handed in my notice, told my mum the truth, told some of the truth to my dad. I told my dad everything before I left, but during the process of like resigning, moving to Australia, like my dad was like Australia, why? So I hid some details from him, and I told my mum the truth. They're separated, so my mum had one story, my dad had another, my stepmom had another. My stepmom knew. So not that my dad's amazing, it's just, yeah, I'll go into another story with that because that's quite a funny story. So yeah, jumped on a plane, and well, no, actually he came to be with me in Dubai before I left. He stayed with me a week, I think, in Dubai, and luckily kept me sane through the whole leave-in process, because it is not simple, and the way that Emiratis do things, or don't do things rather, is extremely frustrating. I think that's the most tested I've been, because I really am one of those people who, when I need to get something done, get it done. Like, I can't stand people who don't do their jobs properly, are lazy, or have attitude. Like, I can't stand it. And yeah, Dubai isn't the most efficient place, just put it that way. So it was a real struggle, and thank God he was with me, because he kept me sane. Like, he was amazing. He basically did everything for me. We did it together, but you know what I mean, like, he kept me completely sane. And then we spent like a few nights in the W Hotel in Dubai, and together, like, as a treat before going to Melbourne. And yeah, that was just really nice. He actually printed out, oh, where is it? Wait, this, see, you can see the W there. So when I went into the room, like, he had this prepared for me with our pictures together. And where were these pictures taken? Melbourne. Oh, look at that. Can you even imagine? So we put that on the wall in one of the restaurants in Bali. It's really cool. The unplanned holiday. It was unplanned indeed. Me with my Emirates uniform and us in Bali. The first night. That was the first night. So yeah, this was hanging with, like, I think balloons and champagne and oh yeah, that was in the room. And then we went for, no, we got ready to go for dinner one night, and I was like, okay, I need to tell you / show you something before we go for dinner. So I was dressed up in my dress, and he was in his like nice clothes, and I was like, I don't want you to like think I'm nuts, but I've prepared something for you. And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I've just prepared something for you and I want to show you. So I'd written him a letter, and he was like, I've actually written you a letter as well. And I was like, what? Like, I know women are more in touch with these things, but I know men are as well, don't get me wrong. My dad's really, really romantic, but I didn't expect that he would say that. And he was just like, yeah, I've prepared a letter as well. And I was like, okay. So we went onto the balcony, sun was setting, and we read each other our own letter. So I read my letter to him and he read his letter to me. And it was just, again, like one of the most amazing moments that we've had together. I read him like my promises to him, and he read his promises to me. And like, thinking about it now, I'm just like, it was really emotional, like just really incredible that I found someone who was emotional like me and in touch with his emotions as well. And yeah, we just like promised each other a few things in the letter before we actually made the move to Melbourne to be together. So I didn't want to cry. I'm not actually crying, I'm just holding it together. So yeah, we had like the most amazing experience together in the hotel, like just really enjoying the last moments of Dubai. And then we jumped on a flight to Melbourne together. I cried during takeoff, like I cried. And yeah, we stayed in Airbnb, shipping my things from like pillar to post. And yeah, here we are in our apartment. We were looking for apartments, and it's quite difficult, not difficult, but there's things in place in Melbourne. In order to get an apartment, you need to give documents and all these things. In Dubai, anyone can get an apartment basically. Like, it is not difficult at all to get an apartment. Here's more structure and more of a process. So I didn't have a job, so we were like struggling to, not struggling, we didn't get one no, but we were just panicking, like maybe the apartment we want, they're not going to accept us because Sarah doesn't have a job, but it was fine. We made it, we're here, and we're actually in the middle of looking to move somewhere else now, within Melbourne. We're staying in Melbourne for now. Yeah, so that's how we met. I know it's a bit of a long-winded story. I hope that answered your questions for people who are like, tell us the story. Yeah, and I'm actually happy to share that. I'm sure he won't be as happy because those moments, he's like, that's the moments for us. Which, yeah, it is. But I couldn't help it. Because it's just like, it's just you couldn't, oh, it's just amazing. So yeah, that's it. That's the story. And I don't know what video I'm going to do next, but let me know. You guys want me to do skincare videos, which I will do. I'm happy to do, but I currently had I bought new products that I'm trying out. So I would never come on and be like, oh, these products are really good and they work really well, if I haven't trial and tested it myself. Like, I would never do that. So I'm kind of waiting to see how the products work on my skin, if they work at all, and then I'll do a skincare routine because I've changed everything recently. So want to keep it 100% real with you. And that's it. Yeah, I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover. And we're planning a holiday to meet each other's families. Well, we're not, well, with all this going on, I can't really say that's 100% true, but we want to go meet each other's families, and his brother's actually staying here at the moment. And yeah, a little romantic story for you. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, again, it's a long video. If you made it this far, then well done, and I will see you very soon.